Hello, welcome. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. My name is Leticia. I hope you guys are well today. Today we are doing a play off of one of my favorite poems that was brought to my attention today. This poem is by Mary Ann Williamson, and it is called Our Deepest Fear. I think that's the name of it. It's a quote, actually. And this quote says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? But actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. You are meant to shine, as all children do. And we were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence liberates others." And that quote is what inspired me to come on and read today. It's all about taking a look into the areas where, maybe it needs to be enlightened. Maybe it's something that we can benefit from taking a look at. Maybe Spirit has something to say in regards to some of these areas. And so like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. If you find yourself subscribing for the first time, feel free to hit the bell so you'll be notified in case we go live in the future, okay? Blood Moon Oracle here. Thank you for stopping by. So what is your deepest fear? We're going to start there. Spirit, what is the deepest fear that's coming out here today? And I'm pulling from my Urban Crow Oracle deck and my Rebels Oracle deck. What is the deepest fear? I'll just pull a couple. What is our deepest fear that you want to address today? All right, and so I have routine coming out, observation, distraction, and anticipation. With routine, observation, distraction, and anticipation, immediately I'm getting, there may be a fear of not succeeding or not getting to a place where you feel, and I'm hearing accomplished. Someone may have a fear of not, and it almost feels like arriving. Someone may also have a fear of being seen a certain type of way. You could be someone who likes to do things with perfection or do things a certain way. You could have like OCD. Someone may have a fear of being knocked off of their path so that they don't get to where it is that they're going. You could be someone who has a very strict diet, I'm hearing, or a very strict regimen, and you stick to it, and you don't like to break or change plans for fear of not succeeding or being able to finish or doing what it is that you set out to do. You're also coming across as someone who maybe you have a fear, like you have an imagination that runs and gets away from you. Maybe you have a habit of fearing the worst. Like you anticipate for things to go wrong. You anticipate for things to come up and to thwart the progress or the plan. Maybe that's something, you fear the worst could happen. Maybe that's something that happens often in your mind. But there's something here about succeeding or doing what you set out to do and the fear of not being able to meet that goal or that commitment. I also have from my other Oracle deck, Shock of the New. And these are very beautiful colored cards. My laptop doesn't do it justice. Shock of the New, trust yourself, and what is already within you. And so you could be someone who your deepest fear is around um, change in some type of way. With shock of the new, I'm just feeling like this is maybe having a bit of future shock, right? Future shock is not being able to accept as things change over time, especially if you're someone who has done something a certain way for a long time, right? It's almost like, having a difficult time shifting out of tradition. And so that could be a deep fear of yours, seeing things change in that way, or people doing things a different way all of a sudden when all you know is a certain kind of way. That could be like a fear, shock of the new. There also could be a fear if you are someone who is feeling this new way coming through. You could have a fear of speaking up. This could be something that you hold inside and you don't really talk about a lot for fear of being judged or not being received. There's a star on her throat chakra. There's something here about speaking. There's also speakers in her hair and a piano keyboard in her hair and flowers. It looks like sunflowers in her hair. You could have a fear of stepping out and doing what you feel would make you happy for fear of disappointing others or being judged, right? You could be, maybe you're a bit of you have tendencies of slipping into people pleasing. There's something here about change, and shock of the new is almost like having a difficulty either accepting or shifting into a certain kind of change. And this could even be in terms of belief systems or values as well. You could be someone who is having kind of a shift in your value system right now, but you're not really vocal about it. You're not open about the changes that are going on in your mind. You're just keeping them to yourself. There's a deep fear of rocking the boat or causing some type of drama. You could have someone who has a deep irregulated nervous system, and so you find it easier just to keep it to yourself than to start a bunch of trouble in that way for in terms of self-preservation, right? That makes sense too. But there's something brewing, I feel like, with this card underneath that's not really being displayed, or it's not being voiced. This piano board is almost like the music, something about the music that's deceiving. And so you could have a deep fear about something about the new. You could be the one experiencing this new and just not really sharing it, or you could be someone that's has an issue with the new happening around you, with shock of the new. And I get the sense that this is not the first time you've experienced this. This may be something that has happened at some other point in life, or maybe it started and you've reached another level of this change. I get the sense like this is not the beginning of something new. This is something that is continuous, or maybe it's happened before. And so it feels very familiar. There's something about the past that's coming back up that you're seeing or you're hearing. Yeah. Now, with trust yourself, you could have a deep fear of being able to really follow your own instruction, your own direction, follow your own sense of knowledge, belief, whatever it is that you believe. You may have a deep fear that you are not, or what you're believing or what you're telling yourself maybe isn't true. You're having a hard time trusting yourself. Your deepest fear is maybe that you can't trust yourself for whatever reason. And the truth is you can. That's the biggest lie that we tell ourselves, is that we need to go to others to get, reinforcement or confirmation, when really we've had the truth the whole time. We've had the answer the whole time. And so there's some deep fear that you may have about trusting yourself, your natural instincts. You may have a fear about trusting nature. In this picture, her crown is surrounded with nature. There's birds, butterflies, snakes, lizards, monkeys. It's almost like her whole crown, lions, bears, tigers, sloths, eagles. Her whole crown is covered with things from nature. And so you may have a hard time trusting your natural instinct. There's some deep fear that you can't trust yourself, or you can't trust what comes naturally. You can't trust for things to unfold naturally. You could be someone who likes to control things or make sure that things happen or unfold a certain way. And so you have your hands in everything, trying to guide it along because you have a hard time just allowing it to unfold naturally. You don't trust that it will unfold correctly. Especially when things feel unstable. You may kick into hyper overactive mode in trying to control things. You could be someone who has a deep fear of not feeling in control or not feeling stable. When things get a little rocky, you find it hard to trust that things will happen correctly or the way that they're supposed to. When sometimes being in that place of instability is purposed. Like we've been placed there so that our trust can grow, so that our faith can be strengthened. And so there's something here about not being able to trust yourself in certain situations, whatever that could be, especially if it means that you're not in control or it's a place that you're not familiar with. This has something to do possibly with being grounded, your foundations, or something about foundations. Yeah. So there's a deep fear that you can't trust yourself. Maybe you feel like you can't trust the universe. You can't trust God. There's something here about having a deep fear that's embedded possibly in disappointments, maybe situations that happened early on in life that caused you to become super independent. There's something here about that. Your deepest fear being that you just can't trust. Lastly, we have what is already within you. Again, this has something to do with trusting yourself or what has already been established when it comes to you. In this picture, there's butterflies being released. It's almost like, and we know butterflies are the end result of a transformation, something that has changed, something that started one way and ended a whole different way. And it's being released. And there's almost the sense that again, I'm feeling distrust with the process, distrust with this normal sense of evolution of how things are supposed to go and the fact that you don't have to control it. These hands are open as the butterflies are rising out of them. It's releasing control, releasing the end result. Maybe there's even the fear that you don't have what you feel like you need. With the Crow Oracle, there's something about feeling like you won't reach success. Routine, observation, distraction, and anticipation. There's a fear that for some reason you won't reach the fulfillment or the purpose that you have in life. There's some deep fear around that. And it could definitely be rooted in feeling like you don't, or you doubt that you have within you already what you need to do it. There's some deep fear around that. There may be a need to release some particular story that is being told, or it could be embedded in fantasy of some kind, of some perfect solution, some perfect storyline. Releasing that, just as these hands are releasing these butterflies, and allowing it to unfold as it will. Allowing it to turn out to be what it will. There's something, again, about releasing control and trusting. And understanding that you have been given everything that you need and you're more ready than you can ever be right now. The fact that these butterflies are rising out, that means you're ready. And you have everything that you need to get to where you're going. More ready than you think you are. You're more prepared than you actually realize. But this is coming in as a deep-seated fear. Even if it doesn't seem like you have much, you have more than you need. You have more than you realize. It may be how you're looking at it or how you see things playing out that may be causing the doubt here. There's something about that. But whatever it is already within you. This is showing up as a deep fear that there is a lack. But it's already within you. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Yeah. And so if for some reason you don't feel like you can show up in the energy that you feel like you've been called to embody, know that you already are. Even when you don't even feel worthy, or even if you don't feel like you embody it, you do. You do. For whoever you are, there's something about not shirking back, but allowing yourself to shine, not being apologetic for what it is that you bring to the table, but laying that stuff out on the table, right? Laying it out in the open, letting your light shine, and not being fearful of that or apologetic, not being afraid that you're going to outshine someone. We've all been given our own light, not to compete and not to compare, right? But for each of us to shine in the way that we've been given it, okay? Who are you? We're going to take a look and see who you are. Let's see. Who are you? Okay. All right. Listen. Who are you? I think that's really important too, to really know who we are. And the word know is a word that describes not just a sense of understanding, but to know someone means to embody, to experience, to have personal testimony, right, of someone, even when it comes to ourselves, to know who we are, right? There's something about that coming out here too. Who are you? And so we have Oshun, sweet success. So you could be just describing you. You could be someone who is very beautiful, very soft, someone who has a bit of a glow about them. You could be someone who's not afraid to express yourself or wear your crown. That could be bangles in your hair, things that allow you to express yourself. It could be your hair. You could have big hair, right? And you could love to wear things that allow you to accentuate your beauty. You could be someone who wears light makeup, just to kind of accentuate the parts of your face, man or woman, I'm hearing, right? You could wear things to specifically accentuate your beauty. And you could be someone who is considered to be a big deal. Oshun is like the mother. She's the mother figure here. And there's a lot of respect given to Oshun as the mother. And so you could be someone who carries this kind of energy. You could be a literal mother. You could be viewed as a mother figure. And this could also mean that you are someone who is very you carry power to get what it is that you need. And that could be around, your wealth, your abundance. You have this ability to acquire for yourself that you carry within yourself. You're very leadership oriented. You may have a following, whether you try to or not. People may just naturally follow you and gravitate towards you. But I feel it's very sweet, very inviting energy here with Oshun. Very goddess-like energy too. It's almost like there's a sense that you embody who you believe that you are very well. Very beautiful feminine energy. Whether you're a man or a woman, you carry very beautiful feminine energy, and you're very in tune with yourself. Very hardworking as well. You could be someone who is very spiritual, I'm hearing with Oshun. You could believe in sacred, you know, um, practices. You could have sacred practices about yourself that you believe in. The next energy is Kalima, which is like the very opposite of Oshun. Kalima, don't play. Don't come around here playing games. This is all about spiritual transformation. There could be things in your life that has caused you to step into this energy. And notice what Kalima is holding. She is holding, what do you call that? When you actually cut the corn down, I forget what you call it. It's a scythe. What is it? It starts with an S. A scythe. What is that she's holding? A sickle. She's holding a sickle. Because she's ready to cut some things down. Kalima brings transformation. Kalima brings this energy of radical transformation, ready to burn some stuff down, ready to cut some stuff up. She brings war, right, to usher in transformation. So you could have two very different aspects of yourself. You could have at one point been very soft and timid in many ways, but powerful. And there could have been things that happened in life to bring out this part, that fire energy, to bring out that warring spirit. Because there's something about transformation, spiritual transformation, that leads you into a spiritual battle. So you could be Hindu, don't have to be. But what this says is that you're somebody that's not afraid of a challenge. And when things get turned upside down, that's when you know, you get tossed into the fire, or the rug gets swept from under your feet. And there's that bit of shock that hits you unexpectedly. This is this bringing out that warrior in you, okay? Bringing out the warrior in you. And so you are someone who has faced difficulties. Yeah, you're someone who's been possibly put in a corner. You didn't have no other option but to believe, as things were changing, as things were like being tore down all around you. But you could bring this kind of energy too. You could be someone who is almost like a walking tower. You bring transformation for others. But before you could actually step into that energy, you had to be someone to actually master that or embrace that within your own life. Yeah, so there's something about being someone who is multifaceted and a little bit intimidating. Not a little bit, very intimidating. Just look at this picture. And it's red. The background is red. It's almost like the energy of scarlet red, of blood. She's holding a bowl of fire, which is almost like something being offered. And of course, the sickle in the other hand, something being offered, being cut and offered, right? And so you could be someone who is intimidating in many ways when you enter into this energy. Kalima is not to be played with, let me tell you. And this is the energy that does not ask for transformation. It brings it, whether you're ready for it or not. Okay. But I do feel like you are someone who has also experienced a lot of this within your own life. And even though it seems scary and it is very uncomfortable, there's a lot of benefits on the other side of this as well. And so you are someone who, there's a part of you that may be intimidating or intimidated or feared by others, but there's also this other benefit that you bring around this transformation. I also have Kanye. It's a man standing in the water. So you could be Hawaiian, you could be Black, you could be Hindu. There's something, life force energy, there's something that feels very soft about Kanye. And so you could be someone, he is standing in water, which is very cleansing, right? There could be something about you that offers a bit of emotional stability. You could be someone who's very emotionally stability, who is, you know, someone who takes their health very seriously. You could be someone who heals. This picture is screaming vitality. And so there's something very healthy about you. You could take your health very seriously. You could be someone who looks very young or acts very young for their age. Someone who embodies a lot of good energy, a lot of joy, a lot of beauty being expressed. I see flowers in the back. I see a rainbow. This is all about bringing life force energy. There's something very beautiful that you bring to the table and who you are. Yeah. You could be someone who attracts others for that reason because you carry this beautiful energy. But lastly, I have Aditi, which is expand consciousness. Aditi. And so you could be someone who is conscious, of course, who is able to see past the physical, right? The obvious. This is being very aware and having things available to you that may not be available to everybody consciously. You could be someone who is able to go beyond the veil, someone whose crown is open. Your experiences may not be average. And so there's something about having an open awareness and consciousness that may be what you're experiencing right now. You could be someone who wakes people up when they're around you. There's something about you bringing this energy of awareness to the forefront. Maybe you're able to tap into the veil and pull others into this awareness with you. I'm hearing that. You could be someone who dresses very modestly and who loves to adorn themselves again. I'm seeing that energy again. But not for beauty's sake. You could adorn yourself with purpose. You know, sometimes they put marks on their forehead. It's with a purpose, right? Sometimes there are things worn around the head, but it's not just for aesthetics, but it's for a purpose. Whether it's covering your crown or surrounding your crown, there's something very purposeful about the crown coming through here very strong. Who are you? I'm going to pull some some tarot now. Who are you? Who are you? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Two of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Sun, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, so let's take a look and see. So first of all, I'm being brought to the Page of Swords is coming to my attention, along with the Five of Swords. And so you could be someone who is younger, or you have a young mentality that is a bit combative, or you come off that way to others, because the Page of Swords is usually someone who is younger. This could talk about a younger energy, but he's gripping his sword, kind of like walking ready to strike with the sword. Also, this younger mentality could also speak of this energy. Swords is all about communication. It's all about mental energy. And this could talk about having a difficult time with mental discipline or clarity. And maybe even, having others come to pull you out of issues when you get yourself in a tight spot. With this Five of Swords and the Page of Swords, that's the energy I'm getting. So you could be someone that finds yourself in conflict quite a bit. And that conflict could be around communication. This could be something that you have experienced that brought you to where you are today. If you're no longer in this energy, there could have been lots of lessons and experiences that helped you to understand and learn different things, or it could have been like humbling experiences that brought you to the knowledge that you have today, or the brilliance, right, that you stand in today. There's something about having some experience when you were younger. If you're not young, or if you're still young, this is going to carry you to a place where, you'll experience this sort of brilliance with what you've been called to do. Yeah. And the Page of Swords is actually either Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius energy. And the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy, which is also about conflict. The Five of Swords talks about more of a combative conflict and wanting to win at all costs. You could be somebody that doesn't like to lose, and maybe even are willing to cut corners to win, not really holding a lot of integrity when it comes to fighting. You just want to win, period, point blank. Nothing else matters. Maybe if it's not that, to lessen the blow for this Five of Swords, maybe you're just someone who likes to compete, right? You like a good challenge, but you like to win. Now, this also says that sometimes the victory does come at a price. Sometimes you end up in a place where you're like, was that really worth it? Maybe you find yourself asking that often with these cards. These swords feel a little bit combative for me. Or you could attract this kind of energy. If this is not the energy that you are able to really say you carry, this could be like the energy that you attract, especially if you stand in the energy of knowing who you are already. You're someone who attracts challenge all the time, which is not unheard of, right? Maybe you do like a good challenge. That doesn't mean you're combative or that you go head first for a fight, right? But you may find yourself feeling depleted often because of this kind of energy. This also may cause you to question your ethics often as well, or question yourself, question your motives, right? So you could be someone who is very much always thinking, right? And strategizing how to win. And then the Three of Pentacles, I feel like you're definitely someone who could hold what it is that you do. This could be for work. This could be your endeavors. You hold it at high esteem, like you take it very seriously with the Three of Pentacles. And you could be like at the top of your game with what you do. So much so that the work that you do don't even compare with those that are in your same field of work. And you gain lots of appreciation and recognition for what it is that you do. People actually look very highly at you with the Three of Pentacles. That's what that means. Yeah. And you're very proud of what it is that you do. I also feel like for whoever you are, whatever you do is something very unique, and it's needed as well. And so there's something that you do for work possibly, or some type of talent, skill that you have that's not every day, and it's very much needed and very much appreciated as well. And so you're someone who is very craftsman-like you master what you do, maybe many things, but you do it with a sense of carrying it all the way, and pulling all of the skill that you can pull from it. Like you master what it is that you decide to do, and you end up doing it very, very well. Yeah. I also have the Two of Cups, and I feel like you could be, and the Three of Pentacles is actually Capricorn energy. So the Two of Cups is Cancer energy, and you could actually be someone who works very well with others. This is the backside of the Two of Cups. And so with this backside, this is being someone who gets lots of recognition because you work well with others. You're very trusted and very loved. You are someone who gains the love of others and the hearts of others very easily. Yeah. And I don't know why I'm hearing that you're not really shy to speak either. You're someone who is very open and honest. Yeah. And you esteem others very highly as well. And that's Cancer energy. And then I also have the back of the Four of Cups as well. Now, the back of the Four of Cups shows a ship, and then all of the cups are actually spilled over on the ground on the shore here. And so, being that this came in on the backside, I feel like you are someone who is forever moving because you don't like to miss out or not meet your goal. So you don't waste time on, things that didn't work out. You're forever moving and you don't dwell on like missed opportunities. Yeah. You could also be someone who could hold on to things a little bit longer than you should, or could take things a little bit deeper. With the cups, this is somebody that's emotional. And so there are times where, because you move so quickly and maybe you see it as a missed opportunity and you just move on, like there's also the possibility that you hold on to things. And because of that, that causes you to miss opportunities too. The Four of Cups, you have to be careful with the Four of Cups because it can sometimes turn into depression. And it can sometimes cause us to shut in and not really want to open up to others. Sometimes it can take us into a deep place that may be hard to get out of if we're not careful. We're only supposed to be in the Four of Cups for a minute. We're not supposed to stay there, right? Because if we stay there too long, it can absolutely turn into depression. So you could be someone who allows yourself to go into a bit of hermit mode and you like it there and you have to make yourself come out. Yeah. Lastly, I have the Sun, which is Leo energy. No, I have one more here. The Sun, which is Leo energy. Leo energy is one of the most happiest cards in the deck. And so this is all about you experiencing very beautiful, happy moments. So you could be someone who is just you have a very high energy, a very high level of happiness that you display for life. Yeah, you could be a Leo. You could be someone who very much enjoys horses as well. You could be someone who loves to go back and experience the childhood aspects of who you are. You could be very connected to your child, to your inner child, and not ashamed to let that come out. I feel like you're a very happy-go-lucky person, someone who looks for the good in everything or can turn any kind of situation into something good. Okay. And then lastly, we have another sword, the King of Swords. On the back side, though, as you can see, his back is towards us. And so this side of the King of Swords could talk about, normally the King of Swords is very well thought out, very prepared, very strategic. But when it's on the back side, this could be being very sharp, taking lots of blows, receiving a very sharp energy. Allowing it to just roll off of your shoulders. Very self-confident though. I feel like you could be someone who has been through a lot or taken a lot, right? Taking it standing up, and yet you made it through and it didn't dent your confidence at all. It may have even made it stronger, being that you were able to, move through this difficult energy. Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of self-confidence. And you could be someone that has to be careful because sometimes you tend to want to be the martyr. And so you have to be careful with the risks that you take in wanting to save people or just save the day. You may have a difficult time even accepting help because you may think that you know it all or you could do it all by yourself. Or you may not even want to admit that you might need help. But that's not necessarily a weakness. It's just that you have to understand this part of yourself and be intentional and being open to allow others to give help. Okay. And so That's what I'm seeing. And that is, I believe that's Gemini energy. And so we had Gemini came out a few times here. Aquarius, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Aquarius again, Cancer again, and Leo energy. Okay. So it seems like you're a very interesting person to be around. Definitely somebody that could be very beneficial. When it comes to support. All right. And so we're also going to take a look at how do you shrink yourself to try to make others feel comfortable or try to not make others feel insecure. In what ways do you shrink yourself? Let's tap into that. In what ways do you shrink yourself to try to make others not feel insecure? Let me just pull a few. Alrighty. Let's see. So we have, first of all, cultivation. And we have celebration. And we have potential. And lastly, we have confusion. Okay. So I'm hearing right off the back, you could be someone that tries to act aloof at times, especially when situations are difficult. You may put on an act like you don't know as much as you do know, to make the situation not feel weird or uncomfortable. You may, in fact, put yourself in situations and set yourself up for the fall. Because for some reason that could feel more comfortable than the, maybe even striking someone back, right? I'm seeing a situation where someone challenges you or does something. You're not sure how to take it. And so you act aloof or you pretend like you're defenseless or you're falling just to kind of see how far it can go, how far they'll take it, what they're made of, to kind of see their true colors. So you could be someone who purposefully acts confused or aloof or weak, but you're anything but. And I'm seeing situations where you do that too, just to kind of make the other person not feel powerless or insecure around you. Yeah. Let me see. And this has to do with, let's see. Just difficult situations, like when trouble arises or turbulence surrounds you. You could be someone that even feels awkward just around people, period. You know, and how much more will that be awkward when you really stand and embrace and embody all of who you are, right? It becomes even more awkward. And so you could be someone who purposefully acts aloof. Yeah. And I'm also hearing you could be someone who tries to accommodate. I don't know if you're someone who bends backwards. And you see she's bending backwards on this picture. This is all about potential. Like you want to see the very best in people. You want to believe the best. You could be someone who kind of restricts yourself in certain ways or bends backwards for others or tries to access what you don't have, right? So there's something about that coming through here. um, potential. And so it's almost like writing, you could possibly want to um, fill the void for others. And that could be you writing checks that you know you can't cash. You know, you go above and beyond to try to make others feel secure, comfortable. And that may not even be, it's not, I'm not even going to say may not, that's not your place. We are all responsible for ourselves, and we have to embody and take that responsibility to feel secure in ourselves. We can't give anyone a sense of security. Really, that has to come, just like no one can really truly make us feel secure. What ends up happening is you can never do enough, because as soon as you do one thing, then it's like, okay, you made them feel secure. Now there's something else that needs to be done to secure, to, confirm them again, to affirm them again. It's like a never ending story when it's outside of self, whether that's you needing to be affirmed or confirmation, or whether that's someone needing it from you. When it doesn't come from within, it can never really do the job fully, if that makes sense. There's always going to be a need for more, for something more, right? And you could be someone who at some point in time, maybe you still do this occasionally, you try to feel others. Yeah. You go above and beyond to help fill the void for others. But I don't know, that may be doing more harm than good, because the best thing that we can do is teach people, not go and fish and then feed them fish, but to teach them how to fish for themselves. So they don't need us to go and get the fish. They know how to go get their own fish. It's the same when it comes to being able to embody who we are. The best way to do that is to learn to do that, not be able to feed off of other people's confidence, because it's not really true confidence if we're feeding off of others. And that means that we'll always need someone else. We'll be codependent, basically. And so there's something here about you maybe oversharing, overgiving, overdoing to try to make up or makes other people not feel insecure. Yeah, with celebration too. You could be someone who, I don't know if you're an empath, and if you are, it's easy to slip into other people's energy, right? And so you could be someone who empathizes too much. Because celebration is all about mourning or joy, right? It's both spectrums, the end of both spectrums, from being mournful to being joyful, right? And there's something about being absorbed into that energy. So if you are an empath, you may feel like you need to empathize or over empathize, right? Whatever the group is doing, you need to do it, right? And it may be something that you're aware of. Maybe it's just something that you still kind of struggle with, or you have to be very aware so that you don't get sucked into that. There's something about being able just to carry your own weight here. Even with cultivation, there's a sense of knowing when it's too much. This is dealing with neglect versus nurturing, right? Knowing when to stop giving, or when there is, or just having good boundaries, right? Not completely shutting off, but not being so open that there's no limits, right? But having a good sense of boundaries here. I feel like this is where the struggle lies when it comes to not shrinking yourself. It's around boundaries, knowing what yours are, and knowing how to empathize, or be compassionate without being totally absorbed into other people's ideals and experiences, maintaining your sense of independence and not being pulled into codependency with others, or feeling like you have to give something that you have earned and worked for within yourself. But instead of giving, we can show people how to become secure and powerful in their own right, instead of having them depend on us to give it to them, right? Or having to feel like we have to bend over backwards, or, just overextend. and being willing to stand in our power, not having to be aloof or pretend like there's this saying like never outshine the master. But what if you've been called to shine in a specific situation? It's not that your intent was to outshine the master. What if you were just shining? It wasn't in competition. It wasn't in comparison. You were just doing what you were told to do, right? So there's something about just being able to be aware and attentive to these things so that you don't slip into the trick of shrinking ourselves, right? Because there's really no glory in that for us or for the creator when we do that. It's almost like spitting, on the creator that gave us all of these things that we're supposed to be sharing with others. Because remember, when we stand in our light, in our power, and the energy that we've been created to stand in, we liberate others automatically without even trying. And so there's purpose behind that. And when we don't, we close the opportunity for others to be enlightened and stand in their light too. So there's purpose behind this. And so shrinking ourselves is detrimental, not only for us, but for all of those around us as well. And so in many ways, these are maybe some things to think about, and letting yourself know it's okay to have limits. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say enough is enough, and to, not have to follow along with what everyone else is doing because you've been called to do something different or go a whole different way, right? And so these are the energies that came out about how we might be possibly cutting off our own light or shrinking ourselves just so we don't make others feel insecure when it really has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with us standing in the light that we've been given to stand in. Not in comparison and not in competition, but in giving glory to the creator who gave us the light to shine, right? And even if we tried, we couldn't not shine. It's never going to happen. Now, it may be obscured and it may come across looking like something different, but it's going to be seen and it's going to shine. And so we might as well allow it to do what it was given for us to do with it, right? Lastly, we're going to find out how you're meant to shine. Let's take a look and see, for whoever is resonating and getting this message. How are you meant to shine? We're looking at our Hidden Wisdom Oracle deck. How are you purposed to shine? I hope you're enjoying this message. And if you are, feel free to hit the bell, hit the like button, comment, let me know how it's resonating, how you're enjoying it. All of those ways help to get the message out. Maybe someone needs to hear this today. And if you are engaging, I do thank you. All right, let's see. How are you meant to shine? Let that light shine, baby. Let it shine. How are you meant to shine? All right, so we have the River Queen, the Web Weaver, the Arrow Master, the Diamond Dreamer, the Keeper of Scales, the Horse King, and the Spiral Dancer. I'm your spiral dancer, dancer for light. Do what you want me to do. I'm your spiral dancer, dancer for light. Okay, so there's something about you being an inspirer, you being like a source of inspiration for others. And that could be like in a way of like a way shore. You are someone who you demonstrate. People may be drawn to you and see how you do a thing. And you may, as we said in the poem from Marianne Williamson, you standing in your light, it liberates others. Like there's nothing that you need to do other than stand in your light. And that by itself liberates others. So there's something about you, the River Queen, you being like a way shore. There's something that just flows effortlessly about what you do and how you do it. Not having to feel like you have to try. It just flows, and that's inspiration for others. For someone, there's some level of knowledge that you carry. And when you share that, there's a change that happens. It's like when people listen to you, there's some type of liberation that happens. There's some change. There's some empowerment that happens when you speak. Or you could cause people to see things that they didn't notice or see before. You bring things to the forefront with the information that you've been given. And that's how you shine your light. There are those of you that, as I was saying, there's something about you being fearful of missing the mark, not hitting your goal or reaching your success. For you, that's really important. And that's how you shine your light, by hitting your mark, by going after what you want and actually reaching your goal. I feel like you're someone who is very tenacious, loves a challenge, somebody very masterful. And so that is working for you. You've been given that. And I feel like that has been very effective in you being able to find yourself in very interesting places because of this tenacity that you carry. And you could also be somebody that doesn't like to take no for an answer. Like when you want something, you go after it and you get it. I feel like you're very pointed and specific and maybe even strategic as well. For someone, you carry this bit of abundance around you. You could be someone who holds a bit of material abundance, material wealth. There's someone very prosperous. But I feel like for whoever you are, it could absolutely be outward prosperity, but there's something here about real prosperity. Like you have found the secret to abundance, that it's not just physical, but it's like being able to tap in and access whatever it is that you need. That's true abundance. That's true prosperity. Not that you just have an abundance of physical things like money or materials, but this is having the ability to get it, knowing how to get it. That's true prosperity. So there's something about you having some type of method or some type of connection where you're tapped into true prosperity. You could share that with people. You could lead people to their abundance. You could show them how to tap into that energy. This is something to do with prosperity. You could also be someone who stands for, right. Come hell or high water, you're ready for the fight when it comes to standing for justice. You're someone who likes to see the right thing done, no matter who it is. And you may fight for that. You may stand for that and live for that. You could, by all means, be someone who, is connected to the law in some kind of way. I also see an energy here that's very disciplined. That's very disciplined. You could be a teacher of sorts, and you teach people how to tap into their discipline so that they can better utilize their skills and their gifts. Because what good is it to have skills or gifts when you have not disciplined yourself to be able to access or use them fully? Or to get the full use out of them is what I'm hearing. Because it's one thing to have gifts and talents and just kind of like, okay, I'm tapping in a little bit, but to be disciplined, to mix discipline with that energy is to get the full use out of it. So you could be someone who has disciplined themselves in that way. And I'm hearing a fine-tuned machine. I don't know what that is. A fine-tuned machine. You could be someone who is very well fit. That did come out earlier about someone who is very well fit, maybe into the physical health of their body, tapped into discipline in that way. When it comes to eating and exercise or working out, there's something coming through about that here. So you could give assistance around that self-control. You've mastered that about yourself and you assist others with that. And then there's some understanding, of our perception around life. being able to flow and navigate life creatively, because it's not just from A to B. There's so many things to enjoy and to see, to encounter, to experience from A to B. You could be someone that helps people to experience, not just jump from start to finish, but there's something about embellishing on the experience. You may very well do that very beautifully, and you may shine your light in that way. And so all of these energies could be things that you do very beautifully. And this is how you have been called to shine your light. It could be all of these. It could be a couple of these that you resonate with. But these are the energies that are coming out. All of them are amazing. Let's see. To end off, let's get any last advice. Any last advice from my viewers as we close out this message? Again, we're talking about taking a look and acknowledging our deepest fears, understanding who we are and how sometimes we can shrink ourselves just so that we don't make other people feel intimidated or fearful of us or insecure, but that doesn't serve them, nor does it serve us. And then understanding too what we've been called to do, how we've been called to shine our light. And then I'm going to get some advice here. What advice do we have for our viewers before we close out this reading? What advice do we have here? Alrighty. So I have the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Wands, and the Death, all of them on the back side. I also have the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Star. I feel like Spirit is telling you in many ways, we're talking about work and moving forward and expanding and welcoming transformation and change and flowing with life. And so, let me see here. And so I feel like Spirit is just letting you know with the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Wands, and the Death, be prepared for anything, because life is going to bring a plethora of opportunities, right? And not all of them will be announced or understood. Don't get caught up on feeling like you have to understand everything. There's a level of being able to flow and trust what's unfolding for you. And things will constantly change. So don't get caught up in any one way, right? Spirit is saying be open to flow with life right now. And then lastly, with the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Star, I feel like Spirit is definitely letting you know to continue to be masterful. I mean, carry this out to the very end. Whatever you feel and you've been given, master that thing. And it's almost like taking a wet rag and squeezing all of the water out of it until it's almost dry. Like, allow yourself to get all out of what you've been given when it comes to your gifts, your talents, whatever that thing is that you've been given, to allow yourself to be brilliant at, to shine in the world. Be masterful of it. Take it seriously. The Four of Pentacles is like, allow yourself to be balanced. This is not, even though Pentacles can many times talk about materialism, this is not just about money. The Spirit is saying be balanced in all things, and find the greater measure of joy. This is not just about making money. You may have talents and skills that allow you to, tap into a lucrative stream of income, but this is not what it's all about. Spirit is saying be balanced. Four is all about foundations and groundedness and balance. Balance all of the elements. The pentacles, this physical aspect that we're living, the air, the mental aspect of how we're seeing things, water, the emotional fulfillment out of it, and then wands, this passion. Spirit is saying be balanced. It's not just about money, because when we make it about money, and I don't know who this is for, we lose all the other qualities that we're supposed to be experiencing through this, allowing our light to shine. There's so much more than just money. Spirit is saying don't dilute this or shrink this down to just about money. Be balanced. And then lastly, with the star, I feel like Spirit is letting you know that something so beautiful is headed your way here. Something so beautiful is about to arise out of this. And this could be tied into something that you have hoped for or you've asked for. Spirit is saying everything is falling into place for you right now if you're resonating with this. And if things have been a little bit out of whack lately, I feel like Spirit is saying harmony is being restored for you. Your job now is just to receive as these blessings are flowing in for you. Receive it and be thankful for it. There's something here about also opening and heeding to the highest call of your highest self. And when you do that with with the star, this is all about wish fulfillment. When we do that, open up to the highest expectation, the highest call, we can expect miracles to happen. And we know what miracles are. Those are things that happen that should not necessarily happen according to the normal flow of life. Things that are inserted at any moment in time that totally just wow us. The impossible happens, right? And so that's what I hear Spirit saying today. Thank you guys for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to read for you. Taking a look at the energy based around one of my favorite quotes from Marianne Williamson, Our Deepest Fear. It's not that we are inadequate, right? Our deepest fear is that we are brilliant. Our light, that we're powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Sometimes we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, to be gorgeous or talented or fabulous? But the question actually is, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about you shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. You're meant to shine. You were born to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it is not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you, Marianne Williamson, for that quote. So beautiful. All right, like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. Thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. Leticia is my name, and this is Blood Moon Oracle. Taking a look at how we can let our light shine even more so. All right. If it resonates, let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.